Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie Collab. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this. Welcome to episode 12 of Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Listening to yourself, trusting that you are the authority on your life. It seems obvious, but with social media and the news and people who seemed collectively or individually who seem to have a very strong voice, sometimes or oftentimes clouds our own voice and what it is that we think. So today's episode is, how do we trust ourselves? How do we listen to that which we really think and make decisions about our future? Specifically, I want to address the question, is it the time in your life for you to rest? Or is it a time for you to buckle down? That is the question. I was thinking about myself and who I am, and I realized I'm not a black and white kind of person. And then the name of the book, 50 Shades of Grey, came into my mind, and I got it for the first time. By the way, for the first time, I really understood what that meant, 50 Shades of Grey. And by the way, I tried to read the book years ago when it was super popular and I couldn't get past like the third page. I just thought it was so poorly written. The snob in me came out with my PhD in French literature. But I love the concept of if things are not black and white, there are 50 shades of gray. And you have to find where you stand in any given issue. Lately, there's been a lot of talk on social media about hustle culture and the anti-hustle culture. There are a lot of people, and I have been one of those voices, but this is why I wanted to clarify. I have said that I am rejecting the hustle culture, but that doesn't mean I think that we should not work with passion, maybe sometimes long hours, and sometimes do the things that we don't necessarily want to do. I wanted to clarify that. A few days ago, I began listening to somebody's podcast that just popped up, and she was saying, wait, there's this movement about the anti-hustle culture. She was really up in arms about it. And she's like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't rest or that you shouldn't take breaks, but there's a time to work. And I really felt the alarm in her voice. And I said, you know what? I understood why this person was saying that, because I think as a society, or what I see a lot or oftentimes, is that somebody says something, someone that is influential or collectively people are saying something, and then we're like, oh, okay, this is the way that it must be. But the truth, and there is no truth, right? But the magic is in the nuance. It's in the many shades of gray. And so what I want for you is for you to be able to listen to my podcast or anybody else's podcast or the news or something that you see on social media and ask yourself, is this what I think? How do I really feel about this topic? And what is right for me? I want to share a story. This is probably over a decade ago. A very influential social media person said, you know what? We are not using our Facebook personal page anymore. What we should do is we should create a graphic and say, I am not using my personal page anymore. We are going to be moving to our business page. So many people in my industry followed that advice. And looking back, and I was one of those people who blindly followed that, it wasn't the best advice. Another example of that, and it has to do with social media, I remember Gary Vaynerchuk. I think it was a podcast or a YouTube video or something that I heard or read where he said that Facebook ads weren't going to last much longer than 18 months. I think this was about 8 or 10 years ago. So while there have been changes with Facebook ads, just like everything else changes, Facebook is still alive and kicking. Yes, of course, there are other platforms. We have Instagram and whatever other platforms have been invented since then. But I also made that mistake, whenever that was, 8 years ago, thinking that this person was the authority on business. And I sure hope that I have learned this lesson, that when someone says something that this is in or this is out, or now we're gonna, hate on this group, or we're mad about this subject, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. I'm asking myself, what is it that I believe? What is it that I want? What is it that I need? And then I will make a decision about that topic. So if you get anything from this podcast, it is that just because someone posts it, or just because you see it over and over and over and over again, doesn't mean that that is what is right for you or that is what you should do. So I wanted to take some time to talk about, what do I understand by hustle culture? And what is it that I'm rejecting for myself? When I began to build my online business in 2007, I threw myself head in, full body dunk, and all I did was work. But that was because I wanted to. At the time, I didn't know about balance and boundaries. I didn't want them. I was single. I just had my doggies. But over time, that really began to wear on me and my health suffered. That's what I define as hustle culture. It's all work, very little play, very little time to recharge, to connect with the people that you love. And so when I use the term hustle culture, that is what I understand. It's the nonstop kind of work. But there was also something exhilarating about that. So if you're listening to me, ask yourself, how do you define hustle culture? Don't assume that just because someone uses the word, any word, that that's exactly what they mean by that. You might have a completely different opinion about it. And I want to say, I know people that happily work 12-hour days. On last week's episode, I talked about a dentist, Dr. Evans, and his wife. She's 74 years old. She was telling me about something that she does, and she was saying, I work 16-hour days. I've seen it. I've seen the devotion and the love that they have for their business. So I am not for 1 second knocking someone because their passion is to work and to serve 5 hours, 10 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours days. Again, my point is you get to decide what is right for you. Just because Barbie Kalev doesn't want to work 8-hour days doesn't mean that you shouldn't want to work 8-hour days or 10-hour days. You're the boss of you and you get to decide. So what is the new ideal that I'm proposing? And I'm proposing this for myself, but this is also an invitation for you to think about, well, is this something that I want in my life? And for me, it's the introduction of finding joy in whatever it is that we do. So if you have, let's say, a 9-to-5 job or a job where you don't really have the freedom right now to leave, because I think it would be irresponsible to say, especially in this economy, if you have a family to support, to say, you know what, go follow your bliss, go follow your joy, and don't worry about how the next paycheck or the next dollar bill is going to come in. I think that would be irresponsible. But you can say, if you are in a certain position, how can I find joy in my work? And is this a time to rest or to work? Personally, again, I'm not an economist. I'm not talking as an economist, but right now is the time to buckle down and to serve. Right now, it is not the time. Again, you do what you want with your life, right? But right now is the time where people are cutting back, where people are being more aware of their spending. I just did a poll in your Empowered Life community over on Facebook, and I had one woman share that she's a waitress and she's a single mom, and she was afraid to get stuck on the highway. And she also has her side hustle, her online business and network marketing. And she was saying that she is working her job and that she's grateful for a bonus that she received with her side hustle. So honestly, I think that this is smart. There are times in life when the economy is prospering, where we can lay back a little bit, where we can rest easy. But right now is a time for us to buckle down and deliver. Buckle down. Ooh, I just got goosebumps. Buckle down and ask ourselves, where and how can I serve more? How can I, if you're a business owner, how can I deliver such value that people are going to feel that my service is worth it? But even if you're not a business owner, I was reading something by an economist that I don't remember who it was, but they were saying that in the economy up until now, people have often been getting overpaid to underdeliver. And what the recession, if we are in fact going into a recession, what that is going to do, it's going to weed people out. And in the next few years, people are going, it's strong in the sense of the workers who are delivering value, who are going to be able to do well, and it's going to be harder to make money. And so we actually have to deliver more value. So for that reason, I don't feel afraid. And I want to be able to give you some assurance in the sense that you can ask yourself, how can I deliver more value? What can I do to deliver greater service, to be more of service to others versus getting into that fear mode, which doesn't actually help. It doesn't help you. It doesn't attract other people. And so, yes, I do believe that this is a time to buckle down, but you can buckle down and do things in a way that feel good and where you feel aligned. So in order to create, in order to move forward in the society where so many of us are stressed out, I wanted to share just some tips on making space so that you can actually create, so that you can move forward, so that you can make progress. Because if we're walking around just completely stressed out and feeling frazzled and crazy, it's hard. It's hard to step into the best version of yourself. So I wrote down some of the things that have been essential for me. This is my process. This is what I go through even today, all the time, because I don't have all the energy in the world to do everything that I want. No, not at all. And especially having had health issues. And so here we go. Ask yourself, what is essential? What is essential that I'm doing right now that I need to keep doing? Because there's so many of us that are trying to do everything and be everything for everybody. And all I can ask is, how is that working for you? It's probably not. And this was one of the gifts that I received when I was really struggling with my health. I had to ask, well, what is essential for me to do? A next and related question is, where can you cut the fat? Not only with your expenses, but where can you cut the fat? What are some of the things that can go? And maybe it's some activities that you're doing that you don't need to be doing. And again, when I wasn't feeling well, I had to ask myself, because I literally could not put everything on my plate. And so the only way for me to move forward was to cut the fat. Another way of asking that is, what do you need to let go of? And some of that might be people that are draining you, right? It doesn't mean cutting them out of your life completely or walking away or being dramatic, but it could just mean like, where do you need to let go of some attachments? What is not serving you? Because the energy drain is keeping you from being able to give more time and energy to other creative areas. Where do you need to set boundaries? That's part one, right? That's all related to, actually, that is all related to boundaries. What's essential? Where can you cut the fat? Where do you need to let go of? And then the second part is rest. So we could literally do a whole episode on rest. But if you're constantly going and you're not giving your body and your brain a chance to rest, you're not going to be creative. It's like being stuck on a highway with no gas. How can you possibly go? You need to refuel. There's never been a better analogy than that. You can go to YouTube and simply look for a meditation called Yoga Nidra. I'm also going to put one in the notes, in the show notes, so be sure to look for that. And Yoga Nidra is just a 18 to 20 minute guided exercise where you do a relaxation exercise and with your body parts. So think of your thumb, think of your pointing, what is it called? Your index finger, your middle thumb, your ring finger. And so it's a gradual relaxation exercise that they say that it's worth the equivalent of 4 hours of sleep. I have to attest to that. Whenever I need to get my second wind, when I'm just tired and I need to feel recharged, or when I need to work again, I do this and it really, really makes a difference. And then finally, get clear on what the next step is that is going to help you move forward. But really, in order to do that, you really need to decide, well, what is it that I actually want? What do I want to do? And what is the next step that is going to help me move forward? Once you're clear on what you want your work life to look like, whether you want to quote unquote hustle or you need to just buckle down, you can find ways to insert joy into your life and to get clear on what it is that you want, to create some space by getting rid or eliminating some of the things that are just not serving you, and by resting. And by resting, it doesn't mean being lazy. It just means taking some time to recharge. From that vantage point, you can take aligned action. And aligned action means that you're moving forward with calm. You're moving forward in a way that is true to you and not following and doing something that everybody else is doing it, so that's why you should do it. We're not playing that game here. I hope that I've been able to give you some tips to step into your greatness, because you're already there. You're already awesome. You're just one, maybe like a little tweak from having the life that you want to have. And yes, of course, there might be more steps that you need to take. But I think a lot of times we think that we're so far away when we're really not, where we just have to do things one step at a time. And listen, if you love my podcast, I would really love for you to leave a review. It really helps so much. And then it also makes me feel like I'm not talking to myself. And also you can join your Empowered Life community over on Facebook. You can find the link in the show notes below. I'll see you guys next time. Did you love that episode or what? Make sure to leave me a review and let's connect over on Facebook in your Empowered Life community. I'll see you next time.